welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Molly. I love to crochet and spread awareness for a condition called FND. Now in today's video, I've actually had a lot of requests, mainly from TikTok, to do a beginner-friendly tutorial on the basic stitches, how to do a magic ring, how to get started if you want to crochet. So I'm going to flip you guys around so you have a bird's eye view of my desk, and I'm going to show you all the basic stitches and basically how to start crocheting if you're either interested or if you've only just started. Okay, well, to start I am going to show you things you are going to need for crocheting as an advanced or crocheting as a beginner. First, you're going to need obviously a crochet hook. If you're a complete beginner, I recommend with going something like a metal set. You can pick these up for about £5 to £10, and you will get obviously probably from like a size 3 all the way up to a size 10. This is what I started with, and I know a lot of crocheters started with this. If you're a bit more advanced and you keep up the hobby, you can upgrade. I know a lot of people that use these beaded hooks, personalised. A lot of sellers make these and sell them. Or if you don't want something beaded, you can always get something like this. I have a few of these from a seller on Etsy. She stopped selling them now, but I know a seller, Hooks and Glitter, in the US. She does personalised hooks like this. I personally use a tulip hook. Now these are quite expensive. The cheaper alternative for these are a clover. I would recommend, obviously, if you've stuck with the hobby for a while, definitely tulip is definitely my favourite. But they are on the pricier side. I think you're looking like between £70 to £100 for the set. Another thing you're going to need is obviously a pair of scissors. Chenille yarn you can snap with your hands, acrylic yarn you cannot. Another thing you are going to need are stitch markers. People who make plushies tend to use these to mark when they've started and when they've ended around. But if you're using acrylic yarn, you can always mark it for like jumpers, when you need to increase or decrease. And every crocheter starting or an advanced always has a love-hate relationship for darning needles. These will help you weave in all your ends to make sure nothing is poking out and everything is looking smooth. First thing I'm going to show you is a slip knot. Now, to save time in this video, I'm only going to show it like once or twice with each thing you're going to need to know. So if you do need to watch it more, obviously just fast forward it back. So first I'm going to show you how to do a slip knot in the Aran. It's exactly the same for the plush yarn. I do recommend starting with an acrylic or something like that as a beginner, just because it's a lot easier to work with than it is plush yarn. Or if you're anything like me, I started with plush yarn and highly regretted it. So a slip knot, you're going to wrap it around your finger, cross it over, pinch it so you've made a little loop. You're then going to pull your tail through that loop. So then you end up with something like this. I'll show you again. Wrap it around your finger, cross it over, pinch it with your thumb so you've got a loop. You're going to pull this tail through, okay? And once you pull it through, you're going to pull it, and that will make your slip knot. And then you can start, put your hook in, pull the little thing, pull the little strand, and then you can start crocheting. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is a chain. Okay, so once you've made your slip knot, you're going to put your hook in and obviously pull it. And this is how I hold my yarn. I always put it over my 4 fingers. I use these 2 fingers as tension. I wrap it over my other finger, and I use my middle finger and my thumb to hold where I made that slip knot. You're going to put your yarn under and you're going to pull through. I'll show you that again. I am using a slightly bigger hook. I always recommend using a bigger hook if you're a beginner, so that you would much rather have looser stitches than tighter stitches, because if your stitch is too tight, you won't be able to pull your hook through. Okay, so you're going to go under and you're going to pull through. So you're going to go under, pull through. And you should start to have something like this. Obviously, I'm using a bigger hook, so if you use a smaller hook, these stitches won't look as gappy. But let me show you one more time, okay? So you're going to put your hook under, wrap, and pull through. And it's exactly the same for chenille. Wrap, pull through. Under, turn, wrap, pull through. under, turn, wrap, pull through, under, turn, wrap, pull through, under, turn, wrap, pull through. And that is how you basically start a chain. Okay, so once you feel like you've mastered a chain, you might have to do it quite a few times. That is okay. So once you have mastered your chain, let me just go and chain a few here. Next, I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet. So once you have figured out however many you want to chain for a project that you want, or even just to just learn this next stitch. So you're going to obviously start with your chain, and you've got 1 loop on your hook. You never, ever, ever start in this first loop, okay? You always go into the second. Obviously, can you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Kind of looks a bit like a plait. So you always start in the second, in the second chain. These are called chains. So when it says start from the second chain from your hook, you're going to start in the second, okay? Some patterns may want you to start somewhere else, but this is just for me to show you how to do a single crochet. So you're going to find the middle of that stitch, and you're going to go through, okay? So let me show you. So obviously you've got your stitches here. You're going to go into the middle of that stitch with your hook. Okay, so you should have 2 on your hook. You're going to grab your yarn from behind, and you're going to pull it through that stitch. You should have 2 loops on your hook, and then you do what we do for a chain. You go under and you pull through, but you pull through both, not just one. I'll show you again. So you go into the middle of your chain, okay, and then you grab your yarn, a bit like we did for the chain, and you pull your yarn through. So you should have 2 loops on your hook. You then go back under, you twist, and you pull your hook through those 2 loops. I'll show you again. So you've got your chain. We're going to go into the middle. Okay, and then once you've gone into the middle and you've got these 2 on your hook, we're going to pull our yarn from the back through the loop. So we have 2 chains on our hook. You're going to go back, grab your yarn, and pull the yarn through both of those 2 chains. You're in, grab your yarn from the other one and pull through. Okay, so you go in, grab your yarn, pull that through, grab your yarn, twist, and pull that through. And you should start having something like this. Now this may take you a few attempts, this may take you a while to try and learn, but that is okay. But that is how you do a single crochet. So once you've spent a bit of time mastering the single crochet and the chain and the slip knot, I'm going to show you how to do a half double. Sorry, that was my dog snoring. Some people get confused by a half double and a double, and I'll show you the difference now, okay? So once you've created your slip knot and you've done your chain, now you can start this from your chain. You may want to do a row of singles and then do a row of half doubles. It is entirely up to you how you decide to do this. So once you've got your chain, I'm going to show you how to do a half double from your chain, okay? It's just like a single, but instead of going through the loop first, we're going to yarn over. So we're going to pull our yarn from the back to the front, so you've got that yarn there on your hook. And then we are going to go into our stitch, just like before. So instead of having 2, you've got 3. You're going to grab your yarn just like before, pull it through. So instead of 2 loops on your hook, like a single crochet, you have 3. You're going to grab your yarn again, just like a single crochet, and you're going to pull through all 3. And that is a half double. So it's just like a single, but you have 3 instead of 2 loops. So I'll show you again. So you yarn over. So you pull your yarn from the back to the front, you go into your chain, you will grab your yarn like a single crochet, and you will pull that through your chain. So you have 3 loops on your hook instead of 2. You will yarn over again, and you will pull that yarn all through those 3. Let me show you again. Yarn over, into your chain, grab your yarn and pull it through. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. you'll yarn over and you'll pull that through all 3. Now sometimes if you can't pull it through, it's because your tension's too tight. Like if you are to do it and you can't pull it through, so you might be able to do this, but if your tension's too tight, you won't be able to pull it through. That just means that you need to either try with a bigger hook or you need to loosen your tension. But tension is something that comes over time. But that is how you do a half double crochet. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do a double. The one we just did was a half double. Now I'm going to show you how to do a double. Don't worry, I know this might seem intimidating because it is a bit more difficult, but once you've mastered the half double, the single, and the chain, you have definitely got this, okay? So once you have done your slip knot, and once you have done your chained amount that you would like to do, so I'm just going to do a random amount here, okay? So just like our half double, we're going to yarn over, okay? Don't forget, we never go into that first loop, we always start from the second, unless the pattern says different. So we yarn over, and we're going to go into our chain like we have for the single and for the half double. And we're going to grab our yarn and pull it through, just like a half double. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. Now, instead of pulling through all 3, you're going to yarn over and just pull through the front 2. Okay, so then you're left with 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and then pull through those other 2 loops. Let me show you again. So you're going to go into your chain, you're going to yarn over, sorry, and then you're going to go into your chain. You're going to grab your yarn, just like we did as a half double crochet. You're going to yarn over and just pull through those first 2. Don't pull through all 3, just the first 2. Then you're going to yarn over again, and then you're going to pull through those second 2. Okay, so it does obviously create a bit of a gap. Obviously, I'm using a bigger hook, but if you're using a smaller hook, your stitches will obviously be tighter. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into our chain. You're going to grab your yarn and pull it through like a single and like a half double. 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and just pull through the first 2, not all 3. So we should still have 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through those other 2 loops. Okay, let's try it one more time. Yarn over into your chain, grab your yarn, pull through. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, pull through only 2. So you've still got 2 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through those other 2. And you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so this is how I do my magic ring. Hold on, let me find the end. So you're going to put it on your first 2 fingers. You're going to wrap it around and do an X, okay? I always use my pinky to hold the tension in place. And you are then going to go under, over, pull through, twist, and then I always hold it there and chain. That is how I do mine. And you're going to do your single crochets, your half double crochets, whatever the pattern desires. And yeah, but just at first, just practice doing these. Don't do them too tight. Okay, try and do them loose, and if you're struggling, do a few, pull your magic ring, okay, and then you can do your other few, and then you can fully then pull your magic ring shut. You're going to always use this to pull it shut, okay? And that's how we have our magic ring. And then you'll just go into the first V and carry on your round like that. Like I said, I will do more of an in-depth tutorial on that, but I'm going to show you how to do it with plush yarn, because I feel like if you use plush yarn and you want to make plushies, it's a very essential thing. Okay, so we're going to wrap it around our 2 fingers, make an X. I always use my pinky to hold it into place. You're going to go under, over, pull through, twist, I pinch there, okay, and then I chain 1 to hold that magic ring into place. I'll show you that again. So we're going to hold our yarn, wrap it over like an X. I always use my pinky to hold it into place. You're going to grab your hook, under, over, pull through, twist, I pinch, take my fingers out, put my yarn back over, grab my ring and chain 1. And then you will do your desired amount. So let's just do 3. And then you can pull it closed halfway. And then you can do your other 3 in that same space. And then you can pull it shut. I'll show Bailey. Obviously, the more you do it with chenille, it will start to shed. So let me just cut that bit off. And I'll show you one more time with the chenille. Okay, so you're going to wrap it around your 2 fingers, make an X. Use your pinky to hold it into place. You're going to grab your hook. You're going to go under, over, pull through, twist. I then use these 2 fingers to hold that into place. Take my fingers out, use this hand, wrap it over like I normally do, hold it, and then I'm going to chain 1 to secure my magic ring. And then do my desired amount, okay? And then you pull this to shut it. Obviously it's not going to shut, I've only done 2, but Bailey. I'll show you that one more time. We've got our yarn, we're going to wrap it over. We're going to wrap it over our 2 fingers like an X. We're going to go under, over, pull through, twist. I'm going to use my 2 fingers to pinch that there, take my fingers out, wrap my yarn over, okay, hold my magic ring, I'm going to chain 1 to secure it in place, and then I'm going to do my desired amount. Okay, that is it for this video. I do apologise about the lighting and stuff. I've only just got my tripod for my phone to be able to film from that angle. I'm going to do a better in-depth tutorial on the magic ring. I didn't feel like I explained it very well. And if there is anything that you need a better tutorial on, I'm happy to make more videos on it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to give it a thumbs up, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!